Hello there my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. It is I coming at you once again, your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg. And today, we have some big updates for The Mandalorian Season 4 and The Mandalorian and Grogu. But first, a brand new tease for Ahsoka Season 2. So often with Disney Plus shows, information comes to us by accident, and yesterday, some symbology was spotted on some crew t-shirts, and these feature some classic Star Wars emblems. 3 of them you'll know instantly, but a 4th one's been added, and this is so exciting. The terrifying symbol of a coming darkness. So from top to bottom, we have Fulcrum.
This is Fulcrum. What is this?
Then the Rebels emblem, I guess in this case it symbolizes the New Republic. Then the Empire, or Imperial Remnant, and now the crescent moon of the Night Sisters. Now that Dathomir has been re-established by Thrawn and the Great Mothers, Season 2 is going to be a battle of covens and clans. That's the way one fan put it. Ahsoka is allegiant with the New Republic even though she's still on Peridia, and the Remnant, or Thrawn's faction of it, has the Great Mothers on their side. Very exciting stuff. And so now my friends, on to the big topic of the day. Some big updates for The Mandalorian and Grogu. Jon Favreau just gave a huge interview with Empire magazine, and we have an official preview for the movie that is the next Star Wars cinematic release. And ever since the first trailer came out a couple of months ago, there hasn't been too much follow-up. They haven't started the wider marketing campaign just yet, but I do think there is a lot to come. Another trailer is around the corner, as well as a press tour in spring of 2026, and even more TV spots. Now recently the news cycle has been very quiet. Anything that's come out about the movie's been pretty minor. We recently learned the names of the Ancellans, but I guess the reason I've not been making as many Mando videos as I once did is because so many updates, so many headlines are often recycled. Whenever Jon Favreau says something, or Pedro Pascal or Sigourney Weaver, it's usually something they already said at Celebration. So if you're wondering why I've not been making too many Mando videos in the last few weeks, that would be the reason. But today, my friends, we do have something of substance, because Jon Favreau has finally addressed The Mandalorian Season 4. I've already spoken about my speculation, things I've heard. I broke down comments made by Favreau in London, at Celebration, then in Japan, and the assumption we've been operating under is that the movie is not the same thing as a 4th season, but that it might be a retooling of some of those early episodes. That's the way it's been described by some of the leakers. But today, Jon Favreau has set the record straight, and it turns out we weren't too far off base. But the biggest takeaway is that Season 4 might still be in the pipeline, and Favreau hints at this with some optimism. As with all things in Hollywood, in this case Mando going from the small screen to the big screen, it depends on the box office. If The Mandalorian and Grogu is a raging success, I'm sure they're going to prioritize sequels, again, in the cinema. But Season 4, according to the showrunner, still exists. It just depends what he's going to do with it. Speaking to Empire magazine for their preview of 2026, he says, quote, "We were planning on a Season 4. I'd actually written all of that, and I still have Season 4 sitting on my desk." But Favreau emphasizes the script for The Mandalorian and Grogu is different, and he goes on to say it's structured around a movie structure, as opposed to a serialized weekly TV show. So there's a larger throw to the whole thing. So what does this mean for fans who want to see the show return to Disney Plus? Well, he just said it. The scripts are not the same, and the unused stories for Season 4 have been put on ice, but they still exist. When he says they're still on his desk, I reckon the fate of that script is still to be decided. Because Lucasfilm's all about the big screen these days, I wouldn't be surprised if it's repurposed into another movie. But if you want to know my take, it's along the same lines of what I told you the last time we spoke about Jon Favreau. I think he's about to take a break away from Star Wars for a bit. If you compare what he's got scheduled to the upcoming slate of Star Wars content, Lucasfilm is operating on a wait-and-see basis. And after this movie, there isn't anything scheduled Mando-wise for a long time. We know Favreau was involved in Ahsoka Season 2, another 2026 release, but I imagine that even if both Mando and Ahsoka's final season do well, it's still going to be a little bit until he returns to make a follow-up. Because beyond next year, unless plans change, and let's be honest, they very well could, and they might even announce this at the 2027 Star Wars Celebration, Lucasfilm is finally kicking into gear their post-Episode 9 plans, Starfighter, the Simon Kinberg trilogy, so even if there are plans to use some of the unused portion of the Mando Season 4 scripts, I don't think it's going to be for another few years. But Favreau confirming the movie is separate from the show is pretty big, because I'm sure he knows what this sounds like to fans. It gives us hope. If you wanted more from the show, this has just left the door wide open. He could have just told a white lie and said, for all intents and purposes, The Mandalorian and Grogu is the 4th season. But it should be mentioned that in this very interview, Jon Favreau dodges certain questions. For instance, I just gave you his response to a very direct question. The question was, quote, will Mando and Grogu grow beyond Disney Plus for good? And because he gives us a bit of hope that Season 4 might come back to the streaming service, I don't even think he knows. Lucasfilm are not going to have those conversations until the movie drops. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but when it comes to The Mandalorian and Grogu, there's excitement. I think the movie has the potential to be fun. I'm sure it's going to look good. But the movie is coming a few years too late, because I'm not seeing any real hype. Nothing like the levels pre-Season 2, or even pre-Season 3. The cancelled Hunt for Ben Solo captured the internet more than this. So I am looking forward to seeing it, but I also am a bit scared, because I know if it doesn't deliver on all cylinders, and it doesn't blow fans away, the backlash could kill off a lot of hype for the general Mandoverse. But we do have some more comments from Jon Favreau, and he says this: The Mandalorian in this movie has changed his priorities. One of the last things we say in Season 3 is I don't want to go out there and just be a hired gun. I want to work for the good guys. And this means a change within Din. He doesn't just want to be a bounty hunter, he wants to destroy the Remnant and take out the bad guys. And another character Jon Favreau is very excited for us to see is Zeb Orrelios, saying after his Season 3 cameo, quote, now we really get to have fun with him. He's such a compelling character, between the voice, the swagger, and the physical ability. And then he says, the central relationship of the Mandalorian and Grogu, as they go off and face adventure together, is the heart and underpinning of the film. Star Wars has always been about progression and growth, sometimes for good, sometimes for the bad. But it's all about apprenticeship, he teases. It's about one generation teaching the next, very much drawing upon Dave Filoni's wisdom, and I suppose in the totality of the Mandoverse, where they end up at the end of the film, is going to have a ripple effect on other projects. Maybe Ahsoka Season 2, maybe Season 4, if it ever happens, Dave Filoni's future movie. So, while we've been told there isn't any Thrawn in this film, it's going to be very self-contained, there might be some smaller details and smaller bits of info that end up being very important. For instance, the next stage of the Shadow Council, and a small update for them. On top of the already confirmed Johnny Coyne, there are a couple of other remnants confirmed to return. Could we see Pelion? And while we've been told there is no Thrawn, he might be alluded to. So we might see a progression for the political landscape, the Remnant, the New Republic, the Hutts. What do you guys make of all of this, all of the new information? Are you excited for the movie? And what are some things that you want it to accomplish? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this one, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and may the Force be with you always.